Hello everyone, and welcome to VOD of Consciousness with Sientir. I'm Sientir, and I'm going to plug my Patreon. Right there, patreon.com/Sientir. So, at this point, I'm just kind of going through a lot of the faction storyline, doing just random missions in here. I have a miniature Thorn Wolf, and we just did the Harvest Temple. So I believe... does Knuvang? Yes, Knuvang has a quest for us. Unfortunately, she's extremely big, so the quest marker kind of shows up in her groin, which is awkward. So it's just like stuff's coming together, do things. It's like, to the palace I go. So this area is actually really cool. So we go way back up here to Kainang Center. So this is the major city in the area. It's the what's the right phrase? The center area, whatever. Actually, let's go ahead and go over here. There's something that I want to look into. I'm not going to do all of the stuff here right now, frankly, because it's a fairly lengthy mission, and I don't feel like it. I want to go hunt down some Mesmer Elite skills. But this guy right here will allow you to go to visit Elite Halls. So kind of one that I'm thinking... So there's a bunch of them. Warrior, Hunter, Wizards, Frozen. Maybe I'll go through the guild halls, actually. That sounds like fun. Let's just take a jaunty jaunt through guild halls. So this one's warriors. This is stylistically based. And here's a Sigil Trader, which, as you might notice, has 0 sigils for trade. But this area is placed based on Cantha, I think, or not Cantha. It's based on Krytus, I think, from the looks of it. I never really played here much. The basic idea is you have two. Wow, no maps are being useful, but you basically have 2 teams. You have the defending home team, and then you have at the other end you have the away team, the invading team. And sort of the idea is that each team has a guild lord that they need to defend, and there's a flag stand in the middle, and just different stuff that way. So there's usually different paths that you can take through the areas and stuff like that. So this one certainly has more of an Asian-y feel to it. I'm not sure how much they had kind of pinned down some of the various flavors for the different guild halls sort of early on or not. But so most of the time what you see is there's a fortress and then there's a boat, and especially with the initial bout of guild halls, and the boat is how the away team gets to the island, as it were. And then this is their base, and there's different routes through. I'm just going to, I guess, kind of go to the boat and back again, and just kind of explore the area. Why not? Let's turn my HUD off. I don't need it. See the birds in the distance, and see if I can complete a thought for a change. There's a lot going on in the game, so I tend to talk about that. You may have noticed. But I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and I've been wondering if maybe I should start streaming sort of my daily quest stuff that I'm doing. That seems like a potentially good use of my time, but I'll have to think about if that's something I want to do or not. Like I said, it's just something I'm beginning to consider doing. Because overall I'm enjoying it. There are some rough patches they need to work out. But, you know, oh, what do we got here? What we have here, folks. I don't know if you noticed or not. Whoop, I hit the wrong button on my mouse because this is not the mouse I'm used to using. Yeah, this model is not perfectly down to the ground. You can really tell when I move, and you can see the 3D effect more. Anyway, enough critiquing that. Let's go ahead and make our way up. Yeah. So this is the Warrior Hall. Let's just go on to the next one on the list. Let's bring up my HUD so I can see the next one. So the next one's Wizard's Isle, which I believe should be quite familiar. This is the one that the Biscuit of Doom guild has. So this one is that stuff away. It's funny kind of seeing it empty, actually. This one's based on the Pre-Searing Ascalon skin. I love that area because it has a very peaceful feel. It's actually interesting. One of the things that I really like about Prophecies is that the story narrative, in terms of what you're trying to accomplish, builds in terms of severity very slowly. It's interesting actually going off to the side. I usually don't come off this side. I love these trees and they're all of their color and everything. They're kind of like autumn, but not quite autumn. But the Pre-Searing Ascalon area, if you maybe remember, if you saw them, the very beginning of VOD of Consciousness, was... how do I describe it? It was very much so peaceful because a lot of the enemies didn't automatically aggro on you. They didn't automatically become aggressive and attack you. Which made it a very nice, pleasant place and kind of lended to kind of a peaceful feel, which I really appreciated without that impacted the narrative. It has a very sort of European feeling to the architecture and whatnot as well. And here's the ship. This one actually has this guy here, so I'm going to just take him because we've kind of seen this. So Frozen Isle is going to be based off of the Shiver Peaks area. And this has dwarven-themed architecture. Just hide my HUD again. So, as we look out here, I haven't really done a whole lot in these areas. Beacon's Perch was kind of this sort of area. But this one has kind of a broad structure to it. As you can see, it also has the ice, which has the ice mechanic. So if you stop moving on it, it will bring up icy ground. You move slower. But it doesn't affect you if you're moving. So that's kind of an interesting design. And this is just kind of a big, broad area. The bowl over here. And that would hold kind of an ethereal fire. And then there's kind of like a cave area over there. I really like the winter time. It's something that we don't tend to get quite here the same way as I did where I grew up in Indiana, where we would get lake effect snow, and the United States Midwest, and just having a bunch of snow, lake effect off Lake Michigan, is really beautiful in the winter. That was when I was young enough that I wasn't driving. I didn't learn to drive until we moved out here, and I needed to drive. So I didn't actually learn how to drive until after college, but the snow is something that I found to be very beautiful, and I very much so enjoyed it. So let's see. That was... Okay, so... Oh, we didn't go to Hunters. We should go to Hunters and the Nomads. They don't show you the one that you're on, of course. Okay, so this... Warrior must be... I'm not sure, because this is very much so Krytus. I'm not sure what Warrior is based on. It might be Mikuma, because there's the Mikuma Arena. But this place is based heavily on Krytus. Not sure how to describe Krytus. Kind of semi-tropical feeling. I don't know. But these are all from the original game as well, I should add. But yeah, as I was saying, I really like snow. I like heavy ice on the trees where it's got that thick glistening layer, and sunshine on a field of snow is just absolutely gorgeous, and I love it. I should add that the layout of each map heavily impacts what strategies you can use on that map and what's viable to do and that sort of thing. Some maps are much better for what are split builds, where you break off part of your team to go do some small task, like try to sneak in and assassinate NPCs and stuff like that. And other maps discourage that strategy, as you may see when we go visit other places. So we're going to go to Nomad. Nomad's Isle. So this one's going to be based off of the Crystal Desert area. And as you can see, there's all of these sort of worn out buildings. Actually, no. Well, yeah, I think this is supposed to be based off of that, though. Yeah, with all of this wooden architecture and stuff. The idea is that they sailed to this area and then they built up stuff out of their boats. So when you actually go, I mean, we can't see it on this map because this is the generic middle world area map, but there's a bunch of boats in using the architecture there. So, yeah, these are teleporters, by the way. So this right here will teleport you to another one. And you can see all sorts of skulls from large animals and stuff that are here. Sand. It's a crystal desert. Wow. I love that sort of imposing skyline, kind of just off in the foggy distance. That's an aesthetic that I think is really attractive. Really kind of fascinating. Oh, I'm having some control issues. That's okay. Just kind of was rocking backwards. Yeah, so you can see up there, right up there, where I'm wiggling the mouse, you can see. That is some of that boat-based architecture. So it's really interesting to see how they kind of like repurpose their boats. What else can you show me? So next one is Druid. I expect this to be Mikuma Jungle themed. Yeah, this is screaming Mikuma Jungle. The Mikuma Jungle visual aesthetic is a combination of these dry, cracked earth sort of places like what you can see right here. With these gigantic withered trees, and then these very deep, lush valleys in between. So there's a lot of super lush ravines. So that's kind of what I'd expect from this area as well. And one of the things that you'll find, and I suspect this might be the case during the PvP matches, I'm not sure, but that's a vine bridge, and when you're in the Mikuma Jungle, you, as kind of like a side quest thing, are trying to collect them. This is the flag stand. Whoever controls the flag stand gets morale boosts every 2 minutes, which helps erase death penalty and increases your maximum health and energy. This game has a lot of interesting balancing mechanics. Oh man, it's interesting like going through here, even though I didn't do necessarily stuff in this area as much, just kind of the nostalgia of the visual aesthetic style, which I think is kind of significant. It's important to think about what things connect with us and why. It looks like the NPC to move on to the next place is over there. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But just different things connect to us for different reasons, and it's really interesting to think about. So the next one is the Isle of the Dead. So I think there's two more. This one is actually themed off of the catacombs from pre-searing Ascalon. If I can figure out how to get anywhere. I've not done a whole lot in this guild hall, so it's interesting kind of walking through it. The catacombs is an area that has, in many regards, its own unique sort of feel that's not really present anywhere else. There's a thing of Grenth right there. Sorry for any motion sickness that people might be getting with the quick moving around, by the way. Yeah, you're not very far from each other, are you? I'm going to go a little bit further than that. There's some neat areas in here. For example, these sort of brazier locations with these statues and stuff. Not very practical, but kind of neat. Doors, multi-levels. The catacombs themselves are pretty windy and twisty. You saw them a little bit in some of the earlier VOD of Consciousness videos. I'd like to do pre-searing stuff again, but it's going to be a while before I can. Because I need to figure out some inventory management that is super awkward. But anyway. So there's some water here, and this central area with these very ornate bridges that, from a practical standpoint, would be the most terrifying thing to walk across. Oh my goodness. Like, could you imagine trying to walk across something like this? You'd be so careful to try to make sure you're stepping on the metal and not plunging your foot into the abyss. Video games can sometimes ignore practicality, and that lets us make really cool aesthetics, which is neat and very powerful. But can create some very peculiar practicalities when you take a moment to think about them. So I think there's one more in the original set of guild halls. I'll have to look to see how many there are total to see if this is a two-parter, which it might be. Just the Prophecies Guild Halls, and then the... Oh, and here's this area where there's the mural of Dwayna. I always liked some of those. Those are deity murals. I thought they looked really cool. There's the arrival ship. So this is probably the base of the away team. Bunch of stonework and everything. But you can see why they call it Isle of the Dead if it's based off the catacombs. So we'll go to Burning Isle, and then this is one of those things where it's like long enough that I'll probably make it a two-parter. Hopefully people enjoy it. I don't necessarily anticipate doing it again anytime soon, but I don't know why they put the other guy where they did. But oh well. I suspect this of being Tar. It is not, which actually makes sense. I do find it interesting that they don't have one of these based off of Postering Ascalon. Or at least I don't think they do. It's just one of those sort of... That's an interesting sort of side note. I guess I'm exploring this one a little bit more thoroughly than some of the others, but whatever. It's fun to do. Nostalgic. Look at these areas. It's actually interesting. In Dark Souls 2, there's a map zone area, the Lost Bastille, which I always have thought would make for an amazing guild hall for gameplay like what GVG is. I think it would work really well for that. So as we look, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more after these. So these ones right here, I believe, are Canthan, and then these ones are Elonian. So we'll finish off with the Burning Isle, which is from the Fire Island chain. This one is one of the ones that's particularly known for being bad for splitting on. So there's two sort of paths that you can go through here. You can see there's some Elonian visual aesthetic on the mountains over there, but the reason why is there's these lava pits. And they, shall we say, impede movement. Lava itself doesn't directly damage you, but stepping in it, it's off right now, but which kind of makes some amount of sense. But in an actual PvP match, the lava inflicts cripple and burning is 7 pips of health regeneration, so I think that's like 14 health lost per second or something like that. It adds up real fast. And then cripple makes you move at half speed, so it's hard to even get out of it. So this guild hall is known for being very difficult to go 2 paths on, because as I recall, the other path is just like a long stretch of lava. So we'll go ahead and look through this area a little bit more. Go back to, or go to the person that takes us to New Guild Hall, and that is where we will we'll end this episode. But there's the away team ship. There's always a boat somewhere to get you here, which I think is interesting. I didn't do a ton of battling here, so I don't know a whole lot of the details of it. But nice. Okay, this feels like a bit of a dead end. As you can tell, I haven't done a whole lot here because I am super lost. Oh, there's a guy. I will go over to him. So we'll go over to him, and then next time we will start in a new guild hall. So that will be exciting. But until then, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.